Hey guys, Probable1701 here, and today we're going to talk about my top 5 missing stories from the second Doctor that I would like to have recovered. Recently I just did a top 10 missing episodes I'd like to have back. Now I'm going to do 2 top 5 lists. I'm going to do a Hartnell list and a Troughton list. This of course is my Patrick Troughton list, the second Doctor, which I'm actually recording first because I prefer the second Doctor over the first Doctor. I love Patrick. So these are my top 5 stories that I would like to have completed. If I could pick and say, Prowl pick 5 stories and they're yours, you can have them, ha ha ha. These are the 5 in order that I would get them. My number 1 would be Power of the Daleks, because I like the animation. I have the steelbook to the animation. I like it. It is a bit limited in places, but I like it. But just watching the brief existing clips from the original episode, it looks like it was so much better. And I would love to see Patrick's first outing, because even just with the animation, if I was ranking a Doctor's first story, Power would be really high, even just being the animation, because the writing is so good for it, the audio is so good. I love the music in it, the sound effects, the special effects, the Dalek voices are done really well. The actors, from the audio at least, sound like they're doing a fantastic job. Never fails when I'm recording that my sinuses are going to act up. So I would love to have Power back. And while I get the animation did improve on it a few ways, like there's a scene where some of the Daleks in the background are very obviously cardboard cutouts in the original version, whereas in the animation they've actually made them look like real Daleks. And that's kind of neat that they've tweaked it to improve it. But I would love just to have a chance to see that episode or see that story in its original format, because so much of Patrick's acting is done with his face, and I think the animations lose that. There's a lot with his expressions. His expression, it really shows what he's thinking, what's going through his mind, that I think you lose with the animations a great deal. Not completely, but a great deal. So Power would be number 1. Number 2 would be Evil. And these are my top 2. One, as I mentioned in my top 10 missing episodes list, we don't really have much of Patrick fighting the Daleks in the original format. He only fought the Daleks twice, and that's in Power of the Daleks and Evil of the Daleks. Patrick's more known for fighting the Cybermen. He fought them 4 times. But he only fought the Daleks twice. And of the 13 episodes that make up Power and Evil, only episode 2 of Evil exists. And just from watching, I haven't even seen all of episode 2, but from the bits I've seen about episode 2, it looked really good. It looked really well directed, really well acted. And so I really like the idea of being able to see that whole story, to see that big Emperor Dalek. Yeah. Evil's definitely on my list. It's another one of those that even though there's no way to visually watch it outside of the reconstructions at the moment, it still seems to be held in really high regard. Not quite as high as Power, but still held in really high regard. So I would love to have that one back. Number 3 is the Moonbase. As I mentioned in my top 10 missing episodes that I'd like to have recovered list, I love the Moonbase. I actually prefer it over the 10th Planet. I know they're very similar stories, and a lot of people like 10th Planet better, but I actually prefer the Moonbase. I just think it's better paced, better written. And I like Troughton better than I do Hartnell. And Troughton's just on fire on this. He has a couple of his most iconic moments as the Doctor in there. That's the story where there are some creatures in the world there are some corners of the universe which have bred the most terrible things. That speech is from the Moonbase. And even though it's 4 episodes, 2 of them exist. The other 2 are missing but have been animated. But I would love to have that whole story just in its original format. Because while I do love the animations, they are phenomenally good, I still would much rather have the original live-action footage. So Moonbase is number 3. Number 4 is the Abominable Snowmen. Just because Web of Fear is pretty much a sequel to Abominable Snowmen. And since we have most of Web of Fear, it's only missing that 1 episode, I'd like to have kind of the other half of the story with Abominable Snowmen. Abominable. I have trouble saying that. Abominable. Snowmen. I just kind of like to have that one. I've never actually listened to that story. I don't know if it's good or bad. I've never really heard anything bad about it. I think Webb is usually considered better. But I'd like to just kind of have the other side of that coin. That way I could watch both of them. I could watch one and then go and watch the other. And then finally, I'd like to have Fury from the Deep. I know we're getting the animation later this year. I'm excited about the animation. I've got the steelbook for Fury of the Deep, Fury from the Deep on pre-order. I'm very excited to get that in. But it's another one of those, everybody always talks about this one like it was really, really good. I've never listened to the audio, so I don't know much about it, but it always seems to be held in high regard. It's been one of the ones that people have been wanting animated for a long time. Back before it was announced, everybody was always saying, when are we getting Fury? When are we getting Fury? The few clips I've seen from it makes it look like it would have been a great kind of horror story, and I love Doctor Who when it does horror right. So yeah, that one would definitely be number 5 on my list if I could pick stories that I'd want recovered. Fury from the Deep. So yeah, those are my top 5 Troutman stories that I would like to just magically be found somewhere in great shape that we could get and own and view again. Click the like button, click the subscribe button, check out my main channel, Prowl1701, Prowl 1701, where I talk about all things Star Wars, including very awesome lightsaber replicas. And most importantly, stay safe, and thank you for watching.